What's going on, guys? We've got a pretty red day, kind of a repeat of yesterday. The mega caps are selling off, crypto proxies are selling off. What's going on today? While the government shutdown may be coming to an end, the White House themselves said that October job and inflation report may not ever be released. Meaning basically the Fed right now is flying blind. They don't know what inflation's at, they don't know what the jobs are looking like. And the market's at a 50-50 split whether we're getting another cut in December or not. And one thing to consider, while we are getting some data by the time the Fed meeting is on December 10, it's a pretty early meeting in December. You know, CPI normally comes out anywhere from the 11th to sometimes the 15th. The last time we had CPI come out on the 10th was in April of 2025. So I'm not sure if CPI will or won't release by the next Fed meeting. Now, while the White House specifically mentioned CPI, they didn't mention PCE, and this always comes out towards the end of the month. But you can see that inflation has been trending up in recent reads, and this is across the board on CPI, PPI, and PCE. So while inflation has been rising, we need to see the labor market continue to weaken for the Fed to have any chance of cuts. We do have some job data coming before the Fed meeting, such as job openings coming out here on December 2, and state employment and unemployment on November 21. These both coming out before the Fed meeting, hopefully giving us an idea of how the labor market's doing. But yeah, right now the market is completely split on if we get a rate cut or not. This could be contributing to the kind of weakness in risk on assets. And then in terms of Bitcoin, we have some negative news, but we also have some positive news. So the other day, the European Central Bank rejected Bitcoin for using it as a reserve. Reserves have to be liquid, reserves have to be secure, they have to be safe, they should not be plagued by money laundering or other criminal activities, just like regular currency is, right? Because we know that precious metals, so on and so forth, has never been used for illegal activities. I believe they will regret their decision in years to come. We do have news that the Czech National Bank created a $1 million test portfolio, very small, but this is a test portfolio, using Bitcoin, a USD stablecoin, and a tokenized deposit. And CNB Governor Alice Mitchell said, "I came up with the idea of creating a test portfolio in January 2025. The aim was to test decentralized Bitcoin from the central bank's perspective and evaluate its potential role in diversifying our reserves." Now, while they said they'll get back to us in 2 to 3 years regarding their experience, hopefully this means in time they will put a bigger position and take this more seriously. Right now, this is just a test. But these are the first movers that get the ball rolling, and others see, others follow suit once they see that the first movers are successful. Look at how many repeats of MicroStrategy we have today. How many companies are doing strategic reserves because of strategy setting the groundwork. Sort of similar to these banks. They are going to set the groundwork for these other banks, other nations, to start getting into Bitcoin as well. Speaking of Michael Saylor, he says, "No doubt in my mind, Bitcoin will be bigger than gold within a decade." And I'll leave the article down below, but basically Michael Saylor says Bitcoin is going to get to or surpass gold in terms of market cap by the year 2035, or 10 years from now. You can see that currently Bitcoin is at a $2 trillion market cap, the 8th largest asset in the world, whereas gold is a $29 trillion market cap, the largest asset in the world. Bitcoin has to more than 10x to get to gold's market cap in a decade. One thing to consider is, where will gold be in that time frame? Will gold be a $50 trillion market cap, a $40 trillion market cap? While I do believe that Bitcoin will one day surpass gold, it may take longer than 10 years. Bitcoin needs to reach well over 1 million, probably closer to 1.5 or even higher, to get to gold's market cap, and that's if gold stays stagnant and doesn't move up in the next 10 years. So do I think Michael Saylor will be right or wrong? I personally think he will probably be wrong. But if we froze gold at its current market cap, I do think within 10 years, Bitcoin could reach gold's market cap. But if we're talking about a dynamic gold where it grows over time, like the real world here, then I don't think it will surpass gold. So basically, Bitcoin, in my opinion, will reach $30 trillion. But by then, gold will likely be higher in market cap. I mean, we're talking 10 years, that's a little over 2 cycles. This cycle so far, we've got a little bit less than a 10x. As Bitcoin grows cycle to cycle, the multiples will be smaller. Maybe next cycle we get a 5x from the bottom. So you have to think about it like that. But will Bitcoin one day reach $1 million? I do think so. I don't think it'll be in the next cycle, but perhaps the following. Now, finishing this off with Bitcoin, it looks like we have a bullish divergence. We have the RSI hitting higher lows, but the price is hitting lower lows. And right now we have a clear trend as well. Bitcoin's been in this clear descending channel. We need to break above this descending resistance. something else we have coming that's actually bullish for Bitcoin, and I do notice that there are other YouTubers finally talking about this. The death cross. Typically, a golden cross is a good sign of a bullish trend. A death cross is a sign of a bearish trend. But funny enough for Bitcoin, that death cross usually marks the bottom, whereas the golden cross usually marks a local top. Here we have a death cross back when Bitcoin was all the way down to 49,000. This did mark a bottom. Literally days after this bottomed out, we saw the death cross and we continued higher. Again, the death cross brought us down to 74,000. In a short time after that, we rallied to a new all-time high, a 50% run. We're talking about in like a month and a half, and we are approaching our death cross again. This is within days of posting, probably this week, and this could be a sign that we're about to bottom out. But it's not all peaches and cream here. We do have some bad news. It looks like Bitcoin is breaking its 50 MA on the weekly, and this is not good. We need to see it recover. Maybe that death cross causes it to turn right around, but we need to see this weekly candle recover back above the 50 MA. This is not good. We need to keep a close eye on this. This could spell more trouble on the short term for Bitcoin and Bitcoin assets. Look at what happens. I've showed you guys a million times, but I will show those that haven't seen this. Every time you break the 50 MA, once you break it, that cycle, you're pretty much over. You come back up, find it as resistance, and you continue down. Even in the 2017 top, we wrote it as a support, but then you find it as a resistance, and that's it. The good news is, if you're patient, Bitcoin always recovers and always goes to new all-time highs. In hindsight, you want to buy this fear, you want to buy the bear market. Bitcoin blessed us with a $15,000 Bitcoin in 2022. This is when you want to accumulate heavy on those bad years. Our next bad year should be 2026 into 2027, and that should give us some great opportunities to buy cheap Bitcoin, buy during fear, buy during pain. Even now, we're looking at extreme fear right now. Bitcoin's fear is the most it's been in quite a while. Typically, times like these are buying opportunities. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think things are getting worse in terms of the economy? Do you think we are or we aren't getting that rate cut? The market is completely split right now. And also, do you think we're going to get a bounce on that death cross for Bitcoin, leading us to recover on our weekly candle, get back over the 50 MA on the weekly? Or is this the beginning of that pullback for the 50 MA where we find it as resistance and continue downward, giving us some amazing buying opportunities? Are you taking advantage of Bitcoin, the Bitcoin miners, the AI plays now that they're showing some weakness lately, now that Bitcoin is in extreme fear? Or are you being patient? Are you trusting in the cycle, waiting for an actual crypto winter timeline wise? Because this should be where we top out, but things are starting to pull back. This could be the storm before that last rally, where we end this year at new all-time highs. Don't sit here and tell me it's not possible. Every death cross we got, we very quickly get a massive run. 88% almost straight up that whole time. Here's that other death cross, a massive 113% move. Another death cross, another massive 60-something% move. We could be days away from this death cross posting. Of course, the past might not repeat and we see that death cross and we actually continue down. But my thought process is this is the fearful time. Normally we have greed and euphoria right now. Right now we are showing fear. I do think it's a buying opportunity, but to be a little cautious, to be patient and nibble, not go in heavy, because this could be the start of more pain. I think watching the 50 MA on the weekly will be crucial and will kind of give us that idea of, do we continue down farther, or is this where we recover? Within days, like I said, we should get that death cross, which doesn't mean death. Typically, it means good. It means green. It means go. But we'll see what we get there. Thanks, as always, for watching, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you tomorrow.